What's shaking? Hey, I'm Rick Jordan. Today, we're going all in. How bad do you want what you say that you want? I can look back at moments in my past and always see these pivotal moments where I was tested. And it wasn't even by like external sources, but it seemed like it was from those, because we can say these things all day long. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Man, I really want to be in this place 5 years from now. I want to do this with this person. I want to have this job. I want to achieve X. I want to have that car. I want to have that house. I want to invest in this. I want to make this much money. I want to have a family. I want to have kids. Here's how this actually works. And this is going to be rattling to a lot of you today in a very, very good way, because some of the things you think about them, but then your actions don't align to those things. And that's the disconnect, because if you're thinking, man, I'm in the same place as I was 2 years ago, I seem to be in this cycle, in this loop, I get to this point to where I get really motivated and then just nothing happens. Or you're thinking, man, I'm never going to get that. I've been wanting this for so long, I just can't seem to attain that. The issue that you're facing is the issue that many of us face. And that phrase, that cliche phrase, pops up time and time and time again in your life. And it's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And this is something, when you can look back on it, I mean, you can almost, like, somebody asked me this the other day. I was guesting on somebody's show, and or maybe I was having a cigar with a new friend. I can't remember. It was one of those two things. You try to think back and remember these moments, but it's like, the question was, where did it all start from you? Or where did it all start for you? And I was listening to myself, right? I dug deep, and it was the first time I really heard that question, at least phrased in that way, or maybe it's just the way that it hit me that time, to where I started thinking, and it's like, man, I started to look back, and it was these pivotal, not decisions. They weren't pivotal decisions, but they were pivotal actions that I took. And some of them, it was like after the fact, to where I opened my mouth and I said something, and after the fact, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just said that to that person. If it was like a corporate vice president when I was in a job, because I remembered one of those scenarios to where I was asked a question by them, they spouted off. I'm like, well, here's your answer. And they were looking for a solution to this problem, and I had it for them within an instant. And I was so confident when I released that, but that was a decision and an action. And I went out and did it and showed. I was like, see, there you go. And track with me on this, because as you think back, think about all of the things that set your life on a particular path. Right? Think about what you have right now that you're grateful for. Just think of one thing right at the moment, right? I'm sure I know that you can trace that back to a single action in your life, because I'm not even saying decision, because the decision is something that's saying, hey, I'm going to do this, right? And that's powerful. It's way more powerful. I am going to do this is a lot more powerful than I want to. So that's the first step. If you're saying that I want to, here's the first thing that you need to do to try to actually go after that. If you're saying, I want this, I want that, you need to change your phrasing. That's great, because you're saying it out there, and it's powerful to say, I want this. That's like a visionary envisioning what you want. That's important. That's super important. But when it stops there, it's never going to happen. Because if the immediate thing that you think about next is, well, what about this and what about that? And that can blow up and this can happen and that's not good and I don't want that. If those are the next immediate thoughts after you say, I want to, or I want this, it's never going to happen. The very first thing that you need to say after I want is, I am going to, and then fill in the blank. Because the I am going to defines what your action is. That's the real decision point, is the I am going to. The I want to It's great. It's important. That's the first step, because as soon as you get an idea or you see something that you're like, man, I want that in my life. I want this. That's awesome. And you get excited about it. But then it stops there, because you start to think of all the things that could go wrong, or everything that would be lost of what you have right now, or that you think you're losing, even though you're really not, right? It could be a transition phase. The next thing you need to do, and this can be immediate, like in the snap of a finger, because even if you don't know how to, even if you don't know the first step to go after that thing that you just declared that you want, that I am going to, could even just be find out what my first step is. I am going to find out. And then it becomes a when. Okay, because these are the conversion steps. These I wants need to be changed into actions. And this, my friends, is your first test that you need to pass. Because the world, the universe, whatever, is going to challenge you when you say, I want. It's going to ask, well, how bad do you want it? Because if you truly do, you're actually going to frickin' do something about it. And then you know what? What it's going to do is test you. It's going to send some things your way, like little tastes of what that want is, little tiny bite-sized pieces that are yummy that you can swallow up, and it's going to be like, hey, what about this? What about that? And all these things are going to come in, because what happens is when you first start to think about something, this happens with cars, right? Have you ever noticed this? At least with me anyways. This is I don't know if it's an aside, but it's a great example, because as soon as you think is I'm going to get a new car. I need a new car. I want a new car, all of that. And you hone in on something like, I want a Honda Pilot. I don't know why that popped in my head. Or I want a Volkswagen Atlas. Or I want a BMW M5. Whatever it is. All of a sudden, like these cars that you have never seen on the road, all of a sudden you start to see that car over and over and over and over and over again. I know this has happened to you, because if you're like, oh, I want to get that Infiniti, I want to get that Nissan, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you start to see that car like all over the place. Like, I had no idea so many of these things were on the road. I had no idea so many of these people have them. And you just start to see them everywhere. Or you say, I want a new pair of Ons. Ons are my new thing for shoes. I love them. They're awesome. Now all of a sudden I see them everywhere. When I wasn't paying attention before. You would just see Nikes. You would see Adidas. You would see New Balance. You would see all these other shoes, but I never saw as many Ons as I did in my life when I first said, you know what? I think I want to get those. And then I start seeing them everywhere. Why? Because it switches on your brain to start looking for these things. Because now you've given that thought energy by just saying, I want. And you start to see these things everywhere you go. This is what happens. Your brain decides to shift towards that. So what happens is you start to see ways for that want to happen. Things will cross your path. And you know what? They'll cross your path continuously, until you say, I am going to. That decision point. But there's a caveat to this, because this is the test. This is the test of how this world works, okay? Is those things will become, those things that pop up, right? If I didn't buy my Ons, if I didn't, get the new car that I wanted, or anything, whatever. I mean, this happened a while back when I got an Aston Martin too, is I started seeing around my area where I live in the suburbs of Chicago, I started seeing McLarens because I was looking for those. I started seeing Aston Martins. I'd never seen them before. But I started seeing them as soon as my brain started focusing on those things. And what happens is the universe will put this stuff in front of you continuously, and it'll seem like they're all over the place, all these opportunities, everything having to do with what you want. If you're like, I want a better man. Okay, cool. All of a sudden, 18 guys show up. Or you're saying, I want a better job. All of a sudden, these opportunities seem to come out of nowhere. This is your test. The first test that you have to pass. Because what will happen is these things will start to suddenly just appear, like as if from the walls, they just come out of the walls. And the thing is, this is the ironic thing, is that they really were always there. You just weren't looking for it because you never said that first thing of, I want. But then this is the first test that I'm getting at, is all of a sudden those things can start to fade away. If you don't act on those, if you don't say, I am going to, if you don't change that want, that desire into an action that stems from a pivotal decision, the I am going to, those things will start to become less frequent. And this is the test, because now it's like the universe is like, well, how bad do you want it? You know, I put this in front of you. I put that in front of you. I put like 17 opportunities in front of you, and you didn't take any of them. So you must not really want that. That's okay. It'll still come back around, but it's going to be less frequent, because what happened is that you had this initial spark inside your heart, in your core, right, from this thought that you had. And then suddenly, not suddenly, really, you just didn't act on it. So it means you just don't want it that bad, at least not right now. So the universe is like, well, maybe it'll be in 3 years. Maybe I'll send it back around. Because those things are never going to go away. There's endless opportunities on this earth. They're freaking endless. The only thing that you suffer, which is probably like the biggest and most painful negative thing in life, is the loss of time. Because whatever it is that you wanted, you just delayed it, and you could have been enjoying it. You could have been leveling up. You could have been in a better place. You could have had what you wanted. You could have enjoyed that period of time for a lot longer, and actually influence not only your own life, but probably the lives of the people around you that you love in that time period that you now wasted. Because there's one truth. It's like none of us get any younger. You know, I mean, even if you're 18 years old and you're listening to this right now, you don't get younger. When you see an opportunity come across your plate, it's meant for you to act on it in some way, some form, when that opportunity is there. Now be mindful, because sometimes acting on that opportunity could literally be just learning from it, and even maybe letting somebody else go after it. That way maybe they can make the mistake and you can learn from that mistake, because there's timing and everything, but it's all about what you want and if you're going to act on it. These tests that happen, they come over and over and over and over and over again, to actually see how bad you want this thing that you supposedly thought of that you wanted. Your very first step from this point on, if you truly want that thing, because you've got to decide if you want this, whatever it is, new job, new house, have a family, whatever. You have to decide how bad you want it. Because the only way that you actually truly want it is if you actually do something about it. Take your I want, and right after that, follow up with I am going to. Pass the test.